One more shot for us, another round. Please fill up my cup, don't mess around. Just want to see you shake it now. Now you want to be your naked now. Coming up today on the Geekosaurus, we're going to check out effective ways to level. Hello and welcome to the Geekosaurus. Guess what? It's Season 2! We're starting over a brand new season because Guild Wars 2 is no longer in beta. This is release, and we can now take a sigh of relief that all the characters that we're playing are now there forever. Well, until we decide to delete them. So today I wanted to discuss something like effective leveling. I've been playing quite a bit this last weekend, and I'm getting people asking me questions like, hey, how come it's so slow to level? Guild Wars 2 is not like other MMOs where you could jump in and be like max level very fast. Guild Wars 1, you can be level 20 within 4 hours. Probably less if you were like uber awesome, but I'm not. The max level in this game is 80. It will take you a while to get there. So take your time, don't rush. There's already been a world first level 80, and they were there Sunday. That's insane. I don't know if they're enjoying the game or not. I guess they are now that they've hit the top level. But there really is no reason to rush unless you really have to be the #1 guy in your guild that's level 80. Which some people just have to be that way, and that's okay. That's the playstyle that they like, that's cool. But for the rest of us who are just going to be playing casually or sort of insane, somewhere in between there, you want to know, what is the best use of my time? How do I want to level? How do I want to get up in levels without spending 5 hours doing absolutely nothing productive? Many different ways to make experience in this game. You can do one way exclusively, but then the game sort of feels grindy, right? If you do nothing but structured PvP, which is what I'm showing you here, if you do nothing but structured PvP, it's going to get grindy really quick. So I recommend doing a mix of all the different styles of leveling or getting experience. Let's cover them now so you can see what I'm talking about. There is crafting. You can level by crafting. We'll talk about that in more detail. There is PvE, which is questing and doing hearts and that sort of thing. And there's WVW, which gets you experience also for killing and maiming other people. And finally, there are your storyline quests. First, let's discuss crafting. Okay, crafting, you can go from level 1 to 80 standing at the crafting table. To do this, you're going to need a ton of money. Real life money, because you're probably going to have to buy supplies, and that's not going to be cheap. You cannot stay and craft exactly the same profession, or whatever they call it, to level up in Guild Wars 2. You need to actually switch them up, because you could go to top level in cooking, but that doesn't take you to level 80 in the game. So you're going to have to try out different ones. Now, every time you switch to another, I guess I'm going to have to call it profession, every time you switch to another trade skill, you keep the previous work. So if you've gone like to level 50 in that particular trade skill, like cooking, chef, then when you switch up to another one and you come back, you still are at level 50 with that. So that's fine. But while you're doing this, you're earning experience points for your character's level too. So you could do that. You could just craft, but that's not efficient, right? Because you know you would have to have a ton of materials to do this. And to do that, you could buy all of it, and I guess that is efficient if you just purchase all of this stuff. But you're gonna probably have to play too. So we'll go on to the next one. Up next, we have PvE, which is like doing the hearts and doing those quests out there in the real world. Well, the real world of Guild Wars 2 at least. So anyway, the PvE quests, the hearts and everything, are okay. You can do them. You can run around and do them. You can do all of them in a zone. You can try to do a zone completion, which will get you a lot of experience on top of that. The problem with the hearts are, if you are starting off at level 1 and you start doing the hearts, you'll get to a point to where you actually can't do the hearts anymore because they are too high. The next level of heart is not enough for you to go from heart to heart to heart. You can do that in certain areas, but when you go to the next heart in that area, it might be 2 levels high for you. Then if you try to do the next one, it might be 3 levels high for you. So it's a little bit tricky. The best way is to go into personal story, which we'll talk about next. Personal story is a little bit like the hearts. If you start off and just do your personal story, you're not going to be able to complete it because you're going to be going up and up and up, and your story is going to get progressively harder, and before you know it, you won't be able to do the next storyline because it's 5 levels above you, and you probably won't succeed with it. So, not just personal story. What else? There's WVW, which is a lot of fun, but leveling in WVW, for what I've seen, is a little slower than the other methods. So it's kind of almost a diversion, something to do if you're bored of something else. If you really are a hardcore WVW player, you can go from level 1 to 80 in WVW. Of course, you're scaled up to level 80 right off the beginning, but while you're killing things and taking keeps and, you know, gathering supplies, that will get you experience in WVW. It just doesn't seem to be as effective as some of the other methods. Now we get to the meat and the potatoes. What is the most efficient way to level? Well, actually, it's a little of everything. If you really enjoy your personal story, that's fine, but at some point you're either going to have to go out and craft to raise your level, you're going to have to go out and do some PvE, or even some WVW. It really matters, I guess, if it's what you like to do. If you really, really like to do WVW, then go do WVW for a little while, go back to your personal story after you've made it to level 5 or so, finish like 5 or 6 parts or portions of your personal story, and then go out and do some WVW again. If you really don't like WVW but you just want to craft, same thing. Craft for a little while. Go out and craft till maybe you've made 3 or 4 levels in crafting. Go back and do your personal story. Your personal story can be avoided by all means. You can just not do your personal story and still level. It's a very simple way to get good experience. As you can see here, I'm doing my personal story. It actually gets you a good chunk of experience points that can be used to buffer some of the other things. Now, before you go and beat up the Gigasaurus too badly, I know there are a few other ways to make experience points in this game. I'm going by what I feel is an efficient use of experience time. Like, how much time do I have? I can play for 3 hours today. Well, then I'm going to do an hour of crafting and 2 hours of personal story, or an hour of PvE, questing, doing hearts, doing events, and maybe an hour of PvP or WVW. So I guess the point of all this is just play what you like. Play how you like. You will be fine. Don't worry about rushing. As far as being efficient, don't stick with one thing specifically. Don't just craft. Don't just WVW. You can play that way if you'd like, but it's not efficient. That was the whole point of this video, was to be efficient with your leveling. Well, that about wraps it up. Okay, let's talk about yesterday. I had a special surprise for you guys. I hit 70,000 viewers, and I was just like, views, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do a special video, and I have a 3-hour video of me doing a live show on GuildWars2Live.com. And during that show, I ended up showing a portion of the Carlton dance from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was literally 2 or 3 seconds. I uploaded it. It came back with an error saying I had copyrighted material in my video, and oh crap. So I took it, brought it back in here, chopped it up. I then re-encoded it, increasing the quality, re-uploaded it to YouTube. The re-encoding process took 9 hours. Uploading it to YouTube took 4 hours. It was well after midnight when it finally got up there. I go to check YouTube this morning. I left 1 frame of that video in the footage still. I didn't get it all. So it then came back with copyrighted material again, and it's 1 frame of video, literally. So I have to take it down and start over. So anyway, I'm going to fix that. It'll probably be up some point this week. It's a really cool show. It's 3 hours long. It's just me prattling on about all kinds of stuff in Guild Wars 2. Finally, I get to you guys because you all are awesome, and I appreciate it. And I'm looking for topics to talk about. I have all these ideas in my head, but if you'd like to see something specific, please, by all means, let me know. Say, hey, Gigasaurus, I'd really like you to cover this or that. And now, because the game is released, I can make that video footage anytime I want. The problem before was you would say, I need to see this, and if I didn't have any footage of that, I had no way to record it because I couldn't get into it because it was a closed beta, or the beta wasn't going at that point. So it was a little tricky. Alright? So send me your request. I will do a video on it. Anything. If you want to talk about different armor styles or cultural armor or whatever, anything you guys can think of, throw them my way. Just leave them in the comments below. I read almost every single comment. I try to reply back to them, and I'll make a video for you. And I'll make you famous. I love that one. Somebody yesterday left a really rude comment on my video saying that how dare I say I will make somebody famous because my video only had 1,000 views. And I thought, that's strange. I didn't know that I could see ahead in time and tell whether or not my video was going to have 1,000 views or 5,000 views or 1,000,000 views. How do I know? So, trolls, I love them. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. I will be back tomorrow with more stuff, and I will do a topic from one of your suggestions, so let me have them. I will see you soon. And this is the Geekosaurus. Till next time.
See ya!